Alright, sorry about that. We should be good to go. We just make sure on the YouTube side. Yeah, there we are. Cool. Twitch. Okay, that's fine. Oh, sorry for the late start again, everyone. Um, it's been a crazy holiday. But here we are. We're gonna be good to go. How am I gonna do this? Let's go over here. So, yeah. How am I gonna do this? Would love to get Actually, can you just hold on for a minute? Pausing all these. Okay. Again, I am not ready by a long shot. But anyways, here we are. Right. So, 2025. Yeah, 2025. It was certainly an interesting year. Um, I'm gonna see if I can pull up my chat. Again, sorry everyone. I'm not ready for this. Not by a long shot. But I thought rather than me doing I don't want that one. Rather than me make a YouTube video, I thought just doing it this way would be just as good. Um Again, I have no idea if okay. Who's complaining? Who's complaining? Has it crashed again? Alright, I should be back. Let me just make sure on I'm back. I've been having issues all night for tech stuff. Hopefully it doesn't happen again. Are we good? I think we're good. Yes, I play with my hair when I'm a little stressed. It's fine. Uh, disk space is still falling. Why is it falling? Hold on. This isn't great. Sorry guys. Sorry. I'm trying to fix it. I'm trying to fix it. Give me a minute. And I can finally get into the main topic. Um, yeah, that should be fine. That should be enough. I hope. Again, all my stuff is backed up, so I'm not worried if I lose stuff. Let me just minimize that for a minute. Yes. Okay, how are we doing for space now? 700? And yet I'm pretty sure I stopped the torrents. Let me what? Let me just verify. Should be fine. No, it's still dropping like a rock. Oh, I'm so sorry, you guys. This has been a great idea, but the execution has been a little shaky. Um, Let me just go ahead, delete these. Can I? I really don't want to get rid of those. Give me a minute. I'd like to have at least a gigabyte before I get going. Okay, 3.8. And OBS is not complaining anymore, so that's good. It's warning me, but it's fine. Oh, okay. Back we go. Should be good now. Let me get this over to live chat so that I can see if anyone comes in. I have no idea if people will be here or not. I'm guessing people will likely not be here, but that's fine. I know you guys want me to do these anyways, so that's what we're doing. I want to get some music going. Can I get like, I don't know, just like soft gaming chill music? Something to like set the scene or something. Sure. Dancing Luma. That looks fun. I love it. That's the volume. Yeah, not too bad. I'll turn it down a wee bit. Alright. That's pretty adorable too. Anyways, that's besides the point. Excuse me if the music does throw me off every once in a while. I do like listening to it while I am making these podcasts. Alright. I took notes about what I'm going to be talking about tonight because I did want to try and make this maybe a little bit better than pop out chat. That works. That works. Do that. Fantastic. I think we're all set now. I think. Alright. So, this has been a pretty good year for games. We've had several games that I have not gotten around to. But we've also had games that I have played this year. You know, games like Mario Kart. Ooh. And I have no idea if Mario Kart's showing up even. I played a little bit of Monster Hunter Wilds. What else did I play? Indiana Jones. Trying to remember what else I played. I did not play Death Stranding 2. I have played Metroid Prime 4. Donkey Kong Bonanza. Haven't played the new Doom game, but this is about my top 10. And really, I think, um, you know, I've played a lot of older games this year, as I usually do. The backlog always has to get smaller, and then I always have to buy more games. Um, but I've also managed to play like titles that have come out this year. So before we head into my top 10, I just thought I'd give some shoutouts to games that didn't quite make the cut. And there are a few of those. Fire Emblem Shadows on mobile. At first, I was very excited that a new Fire Emblem game had come out. I believe it was Shadow Dropped. I had not heard about it before then. Am I still playing it? No. It's like a werewolf type of game. It's social deduction game, but it's a little weird. It's not what I want from the Fire Emblem series, and it's a mobile game, so of course it didn't make the cut. Moving on, we have Palia, which is hold on. Let me So yeah, here's Fire Emblem Shadows. It's an interesting game, but again, it's got the gacha mechanics and it's got the different stuff. That's just random person. And it's not great. I like some of the character designs, but yeah, it doesn't do a lot for me. All right, moving on. We have Palia. Palia. This is an IGN video. Again, I don't have footage of everything that I played through this year, so you'll have to bear with me. It was an interesting game. It's like kind of like Animal Crossing, except like it's very social. I played it once and then never again. I kind of like this one, but unfortunately, it simply is not my type of game. I can see that there is polish in it, but for someone who is more of a player who believes in like narratives and stuff, I didn't really find much enjoyment in this game. That being said, I did enjoy my time with it because I did play it with a friend. Yeah, so that's Palia. Again, these are all games that I did not put in my top 10 for whatever reason. This is Cyberpunk 2077. This I'm not usually a big fan of gory, gritty single player games, but because of the Switch 2, and this was one of the weird games that had like almost like most games were not physically available at the start, but this was one of those where it was. And so I decided to pick it up. I'm not quite done with the game, but I am enjoying it for what it is. It's very, not sad, but very, very dark, very gritty, and I do like the characters in the game, and I'll pick it up for sure eventually again and finish it off. There's a lot to do, and the way I'm playing it is a little bit different than most people. I try and play like the Batman archetype, where I'm like taking out all the bad people and trying to like do things very like non-violently. It's very tricky, but it's fun, and But because it's come out in the past on prior systems, I decided that it was not worth it to put on the top 10 list of 2025. So yeah, that's Cyberpunk 2077. Great game. I'll eventually get back to it, but I've been playing through some other games lately instead. Moving on, we have your tab just crashed. Fantastic game. No, we have. Wait for it. There it is. It's Xenoblade Chronicles X. Xenoblade Chronicles X means a lot to me. You know, I started streaming because I lost the original save data, and I wanted to replay the Wii U version with people watching me play through it, and because of the release of this game is why I started the year of Xenoblade, which is not done. It'll be the many years of Xenoblade, but that's something else. We'll get around to continuing the series at some point, but Xenoblade Chronicles X is so far my favorite game in the series. We're almost done the first one, and you know, there's not too much about the characters themselves. It's more about your interactions with the other people. And I feel like the music is getting a little loud. No, that's just me. Yeah, I do love the character customization. I love Elma and Lynn. And, you know, just the whole story and the world of Mira. Fantastic. You know, we didn't quite get around to 100%ing Xenoblade Chronicles X Definitive Edition, but it was a lot of fun to play through it this year, and you know, reshare all of the experiences with all of you. But because again, it's a definitive edition of a Wii U game, decided it was not worthwhile to put on my top 10 list of 2025. So, where does that leave us? Well, next we have some games that I was excited for, but they simply did not make the cut because they were letdowns in one way or another. No, you'll have to give me just a moment. We're getting all this stuff out of the way so that we can go ahead and do the top 10. Alright. Let me move away from Lynn and Elma for now. We have Donkey Kong Bonanza. Donkey Kong Bonanza I was super excited for. New Donkey Kong game? How cool is that? Love the levels, like the aesthetics of them. The music. The secret final boss. But unfortunately, the story didn't do much for me. And after a while, the whole digging mechanic actually got tiresome. And I don't know. I was hoping it would be more of a 3D platformer kind of game. More like a Super Mario Odyssey style. But it was something else. I don't know. It just did not have that same charm that I was hoping for, and unfortunately it just didn't make the top 10. Keeping up with Nintendo and disappointing releases, moving on, we have Metroid Prime 4. Metroid Prime 4 has been a long anticipated game of mine, And for anyone who's been a fan of the channel for a long time, you'll know that my love for Metroid and the series at large is like unparalleled. I love Metroid, I love Samus, I love all this stuff. I love space, I love the space pirates, I love Ridley, you know, just like all these things. Metroid Prime 4. uh Opening chapter, this part in the game that you're seeing right now, fantastic. Loved it. You're just going through, you're helping the Federation. Silex comes in, you beat up a boss, you gain some new special powers. Great. Fantastic. Unfortunately, after you get teleported is when the issues start. And unfortunately, this game has a lot of issues. Now, that's not to say that I did not like this game. There are enjoyable moments. However, most of it is disappointing. And for me, personally, it did not scratch that Metroid Prime itch that I really wanted to see. You know, Metroid Primes 1 and 2 are by far my favorites of the Prime trilogy. Prime 4, it feels like a continuation of Metroid Prime 3. Which, if you know me, if you know what I think about Metroid Prime 3, it's gimmicky. I do not like being surrounded by people who are talking to me. I want to be isolated, and I want to save the world by blowing up a planet in the end. This game also doesn't feature Metroids, really. And, yeah. It was very disappointing, and I hope if we do indeed get a Metroid Prime 5, which I think was fairly inevitable at this point, I hope they've learned some lessons and can maybe go back to how Primes 1 and 2 played and all of that. Grievers were super annoying, and yeah, I don't want to make this like a whole Metroid Prime 4 bashing video, but let's just say it was disappointing, and that's why it did not make the top 10 list. All right, and don't get me started on the stupid desert. I did like the bike, but yeah. Give me a minute. Okay. Where are we now? Oh, and the last one that didn't quite make the list either. It's another game from Nintendo, if you can call it that, being Nintendo Switch 2 Welcome Tour. It's a tech demo, I suppose. Some mini games are tougher than others. I did enjoy it. I love seeing inside of the Nintendo Switch 2 console. There are different accessories, all of this. But because it's not technically a game, I decided to exclude it from the top 10 list. For $10 or whatever, you know, you can get your money's worth out of it, I think. If you're a fan of hardware like I am and just want to see like cool, short, small tech demos and like what the system has to offer. You know, it was very cool to like play with it and like to see what it's like. But yeah, it's not making the list because yeah, there are better games that came out this year, and like I said, this is a tech demo game and not a true real game. So sorry, Nintendo, that one's not in the list. um, let me just get my list here. We're working back now from number 10 to number 1. All right, number 10. Any ideas? Yup, it's Pokemon Legends ZA. Now, it's another game that I have not played through completion, but I can easily put it at number 10 because it's a real game. I've played enough of it to understand what it is, and yeah, it's an enjoyable experience, but it does have a few issues. I like the music, first of all. There's some cool remixes of classic X and Y music in there. The graphics are nice on the Switch too. Some character designs are also nice to look at. But unfortunately, it still feels a little restrictive, and unfortunately, or fortunately, it is still Pokemon, and thus it feels childish still. I wish it didn't, but fortunately, that's what we're dealing with. There are some cool, interesting concepts in Lumio City, and I'm surprised at how varied each environment is. But unfortunately, it is only one city, whereas Arceus did take place in a wider area, and I feel like that's slightly more interesting than what this game has to offer. But the real-time battles are really cool because as someone who was really into the Pokemon anime, seeing battles play out kind of like how they did in the anime, it's really cool, and I hope Nintendo and the Pokemon developers keep that going forward. Maybe not fully, but because there is still a place for turn-based battles. But I do enjoy like having the whole real-time battle mechanics. So that's number 10. Only way to go from here is up. And number 9 is Hyrule Warriors Age of Imprisonment. Now, this game is a sequel to Age of Calamity, but unlike that game, this game is fairly stable as far as frame rate goes. I also like the whole there are some sky sections where you play as a Zonai character, and it plays awfully like Star Fox. And I really like that because Star Fox is a fantastic series. Even though we haven't had a game in the series for since the Wii U. And that entry was a little iffy. There are some bad parts to this game. We'll start with the bad. You do have to fight battles over and over again to make sure that parts of the map stay blue, allied, and not fallen to Ganondorf. And so some of that repetition feels a little awkward and forced. Link is absent in this game, which is also kind of weird, even though a certain other character does kind of fill that role. And other, like Age of Calamity, this game is a follow-up slash prequel to Tears of the Kingdom. Yeah, it does not feature any fan favorite characters from any other Zelda series, like Ocarina of Time or Twilight Princess or anything like that. So don't go in expecting like Zant to show up or Midna or King of Red Lions or anything like that. This is pure like Tears of the Kingdom stuff. However, like seeing some of the new characters and Minoru fight and whatever, like it's fun. But again, this is more critiques first before we get into the good stuff. There's returning mechanics from Tears of the Kingdom present in this game, such as the ability to fuse items to your weapons. To me, at least, it feels like that mechanic is fairly pointless in this game, and the number of times I've done that is probably limited to, like, I can probably count on my 2 hands. Like, I don't think I've done it more than maybe 5 times even. But last bad thing is that all the maps, you've been seeing gameplay, all the maps look very identical. There are 3 basic maps. There's the depths, there's the above ground, and the sky. Doesn't matter which map you're on, all the areas look basically the same. Whereas in the first Hyrule Warriors game, each map looked very distinct, which I liked. I find that Age of Calamity also had a similar issue. The story itself is pretty cool. I did enjoy that. And seeing the whole story behind like Ganondorf's rise to power and how things unfold, it's very cool. DLC is on the way for this game. I have no idea what it'll add besides additional missions and some new characters, possibly. Again, I'm not hoping for much. But yeah, it's a fun game overall. I liked it enough to put it at number 9. Beating down waves of enemies is fun. But I do feel like they should try and go back and capture the magic of the first Hyrule Warriors game. Elemental attacks are fun, but they can sometimes feel a little overpowered, as with the Zonai powers as well. I think that's about it that I wanted to cover for Age of Imprisonment. Yeah, I don't know. I think that's about it. So, I believe we are on number 8. Number 8. Let me just check to see if anyone's commented. Nothing yet. Cool. Sonic Crossworlds. Racing Crossworlds. Yeah, this game. There's been a number of racing games that have come out this year. I love Sonic the Hedgehog, even though sometimes the games are not of the utmost quality. But I did enjoy this game. I think it looks quite nice on the PS5. I'm gonna start with the bad stuff, and then we'll go into the good stuff. I find that the music isn't as good or as memorable as in previous Sonic racing games. The races themselves are fine. It takes a few rounds and tourneys and like Grand Prix to uncover how best to play this game. And what exactly the items do. It's not like Mario Kart where you have a green shell and you know that it's just gonna go ahead and like bounce in straight lines and all that. Like the items in this game are very unusual and interesting and distinct. But unfortunately, because of that, you need to play around a few times and see what exactly each item does. It's cool that they added some interesting new things, like they brought back the oh, what's it called? The board from oh, I can't remember the name. But anyways, you know, if you've played the Sonic games before, having the ability to go into a plane and hovercraft again is very nice. I believe that was missing from Team Sonic Racing. Team Sonic Racing did not do very well. This one is a far, like, Team Sonic Racing is down here. This one's like up here. But unfortunately, it doesn't live up to Transformed or All Stars. I enjoyed seeing some of the crossover characters. However, they are paywalled, or at least most of them are. But some of the choices are very strange and very weird. Seeing SpongeBob and Minecraft characters, why did Sega do that? I know that they're popular, but I wish they would have retained the core Sega cast. Like Crazy Taxi or Knights or anything like that. Even II from like Monkey Ball. But yeah, it's pretty fun. And if you need a change of pace from some of the other racing games, yeah, sure. It's fun. And I can definitely see myself playing more of this in the future. Alright, moving on. I believe we are now at number 7. Which brings us to Mario Kart World. I was very hyped and very excited for this game. Did it live up to that hype? Maybe, maybe not. No, don't get me wrong. I love Mario Kart. It's by far probably my top franchise. But Mario Kart World. I really tried to love this game. I really did. And in a way, I kind of do love this game. But in another way, I really don't. Again, we'll go over the bad stuff. So, this is the sequel to Mario Kart 8 and Mario Kart 8 Deluxe. There are various different modes in this game. Battle modes return. There's the Knockout Tour. There's Grand Prix. There's the open world. All this fun stuff. However, I'm not sure if it's because of the open world itself or what. Mario Kart 8 had better courses, in my opinion. And it was more crazy, more zany. This one, it's fun, but because they added 24 racers to this game, it makes things very chaotic. And not in a good way. It's not in a good way. I thought it was going to be in a good way, but it's not. Now. This game has a ton of content, whether it's all the different characters, or the costumes, or even the stuff to collect in the open world itself, like the P-Switch challenges, or the Peach medallions, or the stickers. Stickers don't ultimately do anything though, so they feel a little pointless. Tricky mechanics return from 8. I like the music in this game too. There's been a lot of cool remixes that Nintendo put into this. It's very fun. But yeah. I think the music is a highlight for me of this game. And Nintendo, thankfully, continues to release updates and patches for this game. And I hope some of those patches include like full Grand Prix, no intermissions between the Grand Prix. I wanted the ability to do like normal races online, like how 8 worked. And I want the ability to like show which P-Switch challenges you have left to complete, what stickers you still have to pick up, the Peach medallions as well. I think they could do a little bit more with that. And even though I've played it like a lot, I still don't have each track memorized, whereas with the 8 and 8 Deluxe, I feel like I got a better grasp on how those tracks were arranged. Getting 3 stars in this game is also very hard because of the 24 racers for the normal Grand Prix, and the rubber banding is pretty bad. And in the knockout tours, you have to be first through each gate, and that's very difficult. That being said, I do hope that this game continues to get ironed out, and that more battle tracks and other tracks are added in the future. I think there's potential here, but I don't know. We'll have to see. So that's it for Mario Kart World, I think. Next, I'm just gonna make sure that no one's messaged. All right. So, we're about halfway through. Actually, after the next one, we'll be exactly halfway through. So, moving on to number 6. We have Deltarune, Chapter 3. Why am I not including Chapter 4? Because I have not played through Chapter 4 yet. I like Undertale. I like Toby Fox. I like the music. I like the darkness that's like weirdly included in this game. Even though it's like a children's game, it's very interesting. The music is, again, iconic for Chapter 3. I love it. Most stories are more or less fairly formulaic. Deltarune is not. The You have a hero character who has a deep darkness within them, and you get little hints throughout each chapter, and you know, chapter 3 is no different. You have TV time with Telly, and you go inside video games, and you just. It's like something beyond, like, the 80s or something. It's like from the 80s, but like brought to like modern time. It's like really weird, but like also super cool. Um, and I played through it on stream for all of you, and I don't know, I really had fun with it. I did not get around to playing like all the secret bosses and whatever, but the core mechanics return from other chapters, as well as Undertale, where you can fight or spare enemies. I love that mechanic. It's so much fun. And, trying to aim for like the highest score within each round is super fun. It's super crazy, super wacky. I just love it. And the story itself is like, it keeps you hooked from beginning until end. There are sections that feel like other classic games, like what you're seeing right now feels a lot like Zelda. It's just really cool, and I'm very excited to go back, play through chapter 4, and just see what chapters 5 and 6, 7, 8, 9, and the rest of the Deltarune series, well, the rest of the game, I suppose, has in store, because, Toby Fox has been killing it chapter after chapter. We've been having to wait a little while here and there, but, it's just so much fun. And, yeah. This was my number 6 pick, and I just really liked it. Number 5. I'm surprised. No messages in chat yet. But that's okay. Number 5, we have Peglin. Peglin. It's Peggle, but interesting. Because not only is it Peggle, but it's a roguelite version of Peggle. It's like if you took Slay the Spire and you like put it in Peggle. Like you cross the two, this is what you get. I don't play it a lot anymore, but it's very addicting. You want to do run after run. There are different characters that you can play as. There are different power-ups that you can get. You just try and get those balls bouncing on those pegs for as long as you can. And, each peg does something a little bit different. And I really like this game. Peglin was a lot of fun. Was it a perfect game? No, but, from a small indie studio, this was a pretty good game. I really liked it. The other thing is, you can usually get a couple runs in because it's not a super long, not a super long roguelite. It's also a little bit more forgiving than some of the other ones out there. Yeah. Now, each board is randomized, and as such, some boards feel easier than others. while other ones feel a little unfair. But, that's part of the fun when you're playing roguelike games, is that you never know what you're really going to get with each round. And the other thing that you have to do is that whether you're facing depending on what enemy you're facing, whether it's like a small little dude, a dude with like good defense, many enemies, a few, like you have to really balance what you're doing. Like, do you go more after the attacks? Do you go more after like defense? Yeah, it's really fun and very interesting to like play around with and like see what combinations are available. Yeah, I don't know. I just really like this game. I hope that there's a sequel in the future, but I honestly don't know where you take the series if you do make a sequel. Like, there are things you can improve for sure, but I don't know. Like, I think it's just one of those games where it's just fun to play through. Alright, moving on to number 4. We have No Sleep for Kaname Date. As you can see, there's lots of fan service in this game, just like the other games in the series. Spike Chunsoft, always a classic developer / publisher. Anything that they make, Danganronpa, AI the Somnium Files, anything like that, you're always in for a good time. It's always going to be something that you usually don't play on stream because it's going to be like mostly story based. New characters are introduced in this game, as well as escape rooms, and it's a lot of fun. Now, this game is available digitally or on game keycard. I did get the game keycard first for this, but I think it's worth a playthrough. Now, is it as diverse and as great as the other entries in the series? No. This is going to be a smaller title than 1 and 2. Hopefully a third real game is on the way. The humor is, again, spot on as per usual. There's always the innuendos, there's the stuff you can click on that has, like, different characters, like, playing puns or whatever. The characters return from, like, the first game, but this one's placed between the first and the second game, so it's very interesting. I really love the whole idea of, like, going into like somniums and like having escape rooms. I hope they bring back the escape room mechanic to the third game if there is a third game eventually. And the somniums are as wacky as ever. And the story, it's just silly nonsense. But it's still fun to like uncover the mysteries and do all of that. Some puzzles are a little challenging, but you don't want to make it too easy either. Sometimes the challenge is what makes it fun. And again, I just loved each set of flavor text that you get by interacting with things, and yeah. No Sleep for Kaname Date. Fun game. I highly recommend it. All right. We have a few left. We have 3 left. Number 3, Indiana Jones and the Great Circle. Great game. Just as, with the movies, you go through like all these set pieces, like larger than life. You go across the world looking for treasures and like mysteries to uncover, and like everything that you would ever want from an Indiana Jones game is in this game, I feel. Um, I've not played any other Indiana Jones games before. I was a little taken aback that like it's first person, but at the like after a few hours with the game, you get used to it, and you're just like, "Yep, I am Indiana Jones." You know, I'm pushing fascists and Nazis off of ledges. I'm like whipping them. Yeah, it's just a lot of fun, and you know, the story's really good. There has been DLC, I believe, for this game. I have not yet played through the DLC. I'll get to it at some point. Many puzzles to solve within this game. Again, this is like... it's like first person Uncharted, basically. Like, you kind of know what you're getting with like Indiana Jones, but like it's just a great game. It's like if two other games had not come out this year, this would have easily had taken the #1 spot, I think. It's just that much fun. I was especially really like blown away by the voice acting in this game. Music, hit or miss, but the voice acting, like, Troy Baker does an incredible job as Indiana Jones. At first I was like, yep, this is Harrison Ford. He's come back, he's voicing the character in the game. Nope, it's Troy Baker. It's just like, wow. Thank you for subscribing to the channel there. Where's my thing? Emma G. Hope you're having a good one. Now, the linear levels are probably my least favorite part of this game. It is really the open areas, the open world stuff that makes this game shine. It's exploring the tombs, it's exploring the various locales that make up this game. And they feel like open world, but like they're not quite open world. They're like self-contained, but at the same time there's so much stuff to do. There's so many treasures to find. It just, wow, they packed a lot in here, and it's just a lot of fun. I really liked it. And I think that's all I have to say about this one. I'm just gonna check the thing. Hey, it's the curb. It's the curb. I love that little gift that I have. Speaking of Kirby, Air Riders takes my #2 spot. Now, for someone who has loved the original game when it came out on the GameCube, I was a little unsure of it at first because, like, Kirby racing game where you don't have to like accelerate at all was a little weird. But Sakurai, he always outdoes himself each and every game, whether it's Super Smash Brothers or Kirby or anything else he makes, it's just like, wow. This game is full of content. This game is like always a masterpiece. And yeah, to see that this was the secret project that he was working on, it's just like, wow. Um, it's Kirby Air Riders. It's like basically the first game, but prettier. It's faster paced. Yeah, it's a lot of fun. Uh, and unlike other games that come out from other developers, this one was a full game on release. There's no microtransactions, there's no like DLC, everything's there from day one. Now that's also a negative because as someone who really enjoyed this game, I would love for there to be a DLC, like get more modes, get more vehicles, all this. But I also understand that Sakurai, he's got other games he needs to work on, like probably the next Smash Brothers game. And, you can understand why everything is there and that there's no DLC. Again, they're just more of what made the original game so much fun. And City Trial, again, is probably the standout mode of this game. You're racing around this open area, collecting stat boosts and making your vehicle stronger for what ends up in a stadium. Now, speaking about the stadiums, it's just like, wow. I know that there was a lot of variety in the first one, but it's like Sakurai, he bumped himself up. There's more than ever. It's just like, wow. Stadiums are like, yeah. It's just like, he outdid himself and he put everything he had into making this a fun game. And in my opinion, it even outshines Mario Kart World. And that is high praise for this game. Now, there are also additional modes as well, being Top Ride and Air Ride mode. This is Air Ride mode that you're seeing on screen right now. And Top Ride, just pure top-down arcade classic action. It's a lot of fun to play through, and it's a shame that the previous Top Ride tracks don't return from the original game, but Sakurai included the Air Ride tracks from the original game into this game, so there's a lot of content in this, and it's just so much fun. Each car, each Air Ride vehicle plays a little differently. The roster of characters, oh my god, it's just like, okay, not only are we having all the colored Kirby's come back, we're not only adding DD and Meta Knight again, but we're adding like all these other characters from the entire Kirby series into this game because we know that like people love these characters. It's just wow. And the last thing that I want to end with for this number 2 spot, again, this is only the number 2 spot. Yeah, not only does this game have so much content already, but there's also a single player roguelite mode. And it's like, wow, I was not expecting this mode to be in this game. Now, it does the same thing that City Trial does, where you're still collecting stat boosts. You're still kind of doing stadiums, kind of, but like there's also a story mode. It's like it incorporates basically Brawl Subspace Emissary mode into a Kirby Air Ride game, and it's just like, Yeah, Sakurai, he outdid himself. He put he's been against like adding cutscenes into games for so long, like a true story mode that like if he were to add this into a Smash Brothers game, like wow. Um and there's replayability with this roguelite mode. Like you can try a whole sort of different combinations, different stats. It's just a lot of fun to like see what's available, uh what kind of different like strategies you can implement maybe. And yeah, it's just a lot of fun. And it's long. It takes a long time to get through. Like I think there are like 8 different stages. There are branching paths. Yeah, it's really great. So I think that's about it for Kirby Air Riders. Again, only number 2. But what could take number 1? Well, number 1. Number 1 is this game. Looks a little different than Kirby. No, this is a co-op game, and it's made by Joseph Ferris from Hazelight Studios and his team. Now, if anyone's played It Takes Two or A Way Out, they kind of have an idea of what this game's all about. It's asymmetric gameplay, so you have 2 different gameplay styles kind of happening at the same time. One person plays as Mia, and the other person plays as... See, I played as Mia the first time, and then I'm like, who's the other one? Let me just do some research. Mia and... Again, this is all off the top of my head, so... There are going to be little trip-ups here and there, but, that's what we do here. Mia and Zoe. Mia writes sci-fi, Zoe works with fantasy novels. They're invited to this publishing house where this guy plans to publish their stories for them. But it's like a contest. They somehow end up getting trapped in their own stories. And so you're playing through fantasy setting or a sci-fi mostly. Now, the characters themselves, they're very relatable. I'm not an author, but like I can put myself into these characters' shoes. Like I can understand the hardships that they go through, the different trauma that they've dealt with, and all that. Like it's just like wow. Some parts of the game can be a little tricky. But it's all about co-op. So as long as you have like a really good co-op partner, this game's gonna be like a 10 out of 10. And because I played with such a wonderful person, it elevated my experience. I find that this isn't the best game that Hazelight has put out. I still think It Takes Two is a slightly better game than this one. But as you can see from the footage that you're currently viewing, the visuals are like top notch. It works cross platforms, so like whether you have a PC, PlayStation 5, Xbox, it's seamless. It works beautifully. And because of the friend pass system or whatever, just having one copy allows like you to share it with a friend. Like that was such a brilliant move. Um, it's such a fun game. Such like different set pieces again are just wild. Again, fantasy or sci-fi. And then not only do you have those, you have like these little side stories, and they change the gameplay where it's like you're not playing in fantasy, you're not playing in sci-fi, you're playing some weird mishmash. It's just like wow. And yeah, it's just like this game is a lot of fun, and you know, as long as Joseph Fares keeps making games with Hazelight Studios or whatever, yeah, I'll keep playing them. And I don't know, like Split Fiction really is like just a real marvel at what today's consoles, what today's hardware is capable of. And yeah, it's like super fun. So yeah, that's my number one pick for the year. Split Fiction. And plenty of humorous moments as well throughout the game. Yeah, so that's my top 10 games of the year. Hopefully all of you enjoyed this video. I know it's maybe not as polished as some of my previous videos that I've done on the games that I've enjoyed in previous years, but I feel like, you know, at least as I get something out for all of you, I feel like this should tell you what kind of, like, experiences I really enjoyed this year. That was a fun boss. Yeah. All right, now we're gonna head over to the question and answers. We have any questions or answers from the audience today? Doesn't look like it. All right. Well, that's gonna do it for me for tonight. Thank you everyone for watching. Thank you Emma G for the for subscribing with Prime on Twitch. And yeah, we'll see you in the next one in the new year. Happy New Year, happy holidays, and we'll see you next time. Bye for now.